A meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and U.S. President Donald Trump has been agreed, a Kremlin official said Thursday, the eve of a White House deadline for Moscow to show progress toward ending the military campaign in Ukraine. According to Associated Press, Putin's foreign affairs advisor Yuri Ushakov said a summit could possibly take place next week at a venue that has been decided, in principle. "We propose, first of all, to focus on preparing a bilateral meeting with Trump, and we consider it most important that this meeting be successful and productive," Ushakov said, adding that U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff's suggestion of a meeting including Ukraine's leader was not specifically discussed. It was not clear how the announcement of the meeting would affect Trump's Friday deadline for Russia to stop the killing or face heavy economic sanctions. The meeting would be the first U.S. Russia summit since 2021, when former President Joe Biden met Putin in Geneva. It would be a significant milestone toward Trump's effort to end the violence, although there's no guarantee it would stop the fighting since Moscow and Kiev remain far apart on their conditions for peace. Next week is the target date for a summit, Ushakov said, while noting that such events take time to organize and no date is confirmed. The possible venue will be announced a little later, he said.
Срочная новость. Россия и США договорились о встрече Владимира Путина и Дональда Трампа в ближайшие дни. Как сообщил помощник президента России Юрий Ушаков, по предложению американской стороны была, в принципе, согласована договоренность о проведении в ближайшие дни двусторонней встречи на высшем уровне. Сейчас дипломаты приступили к конкретной проработке саммита. Вашингтон теперь лучше понимает условия Москвы по прекращению украинского конфликта. Об этом заявил госсекретарь США Рубио. А западные СМИ подчеркивают, что Трамп видит реальную возможность для встречи с Владимиром Путиным.
По предложению американской стороны была, в принципе, согласована договоренность о проведении в ближайшие дни двухсторонней встречи на высшем уровне, то есть встречи президентов Владимира Путина и Дональда Трампа. Сейчас вместе с американскими коллегами мы приступаем к конкретной проработке параметров этой встречи и места ее проведения. Кстати, замечу, что место проведения было тоже, в принципе, согласовано, и мы информируем об этом несколько позже. Что касается варианта трехсторонней встречи, о которой вчера почему-то заговорили в Вашингтоне, то этот вариант был просто упомянут американским представителем в ходе встречи в Кремле. Но этот вариант конкретно не обсуждался. Российская сторона этот вариант оставила совсем полностью без комментариев. Мы предлагаем прежде всего сконцентрировать внимание на подготовке двусторонней встречи с Трампом и считаем главным, чтобы эта встреча была успешной и результативной. Был ориентир обозначен как следующая неделя, но я только что упомянул, что стороны приступают непосредственно к подготовке этой важной встречи. И сколько подготовка займет дней, пока сказать трудно. Но еще раз повторю, вариант проведения встречи в течение следующей недели рассматривался, и мы к этому варианту относимся вполне положительно.
President Donald Trump says the U.S. had some very good talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday. According to Associated Press taking questions from reporters in the Oval Office, Trump wouldn't forecast a timeline for a potential meeting with Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. But he said, there's a good chance there will be a meeting very soon. Trump said there had been no specific breakthrough leading to talk of a meeting, saying that U.S. officials had been working on the issue a long time. "I'm here to get the thing over with," he said, of the war. Asked during an Oval Office event on Wednesday if a deal between Russia and Ukraine would mean additional tariffs on India would be dropped, Trump said, "We'll determine that later." He did affirm that India was currently paying a 50% tariffs, the result of an additional 25% tax placed Wednesday for its purchases of Russian oil. The tariffs would go into effect 21 days after the signing of the order, meaning that both India and Russia might have time to negotiate with the administration on the import taxes.
Doing well, successful. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. President, have Putin and Zelensky agreed to a summit yet? And where and when would that be? What would
Well,
that
there's a very good prospect that they will, and we haven't determined where, but we had some very good talks with President Putin today, and there's a very good chance that we could be ending the end of that road. That road was long and continues to be long, but there's a good chance that there will be a meeting very soon.
How close do you think you are to a deal?
Excuse me?
How close do you think you are to some kind of deal?
Well, I don't want to say. I've been disappointed before with this one. And we haven't determined where, but we had some very good talks with President Putin today.
Mr. President, what was the breakthrough today? Did Vladimir Putin make some kind of concession that he hasn't been willing to make before?
I don't call it a breakthrough. I mean, we've been working on this a long time. There are thousands of young people dying, mostly soldiers, but also, missiles being hit into Kiev and other places. But in terms of soldiers, I think Russia's lost over 20,000 since the beginning of the year. 20,000. And I guess the estimate for Ukraine is about 9,000. It's a terrible situation. We want to get it stopped. We don't have American soldiers there, but I feel I have an obligation to get it stopped. This was not my war. This war would have never started, not even a chance. And it didn't start for 4 years. It went 4 years and didn't start. But this is Biden's war. This was on his watch. And, it's funny, we had no land was taken from Trump. It was taken from Bush. It was taken from Biden. The whole thing they would take from Biden if it weren't for us. But it was taken by Obama. Take a look at what was taken with all of the land that was taken. Nothing was taken by Russia from us. Not 1 ounce of land was taken. I'm here to get the thing over with. It would have never started if I were president. And we're here to get it stopped and get the death stopped. Yeah, please.
President, in the past, you said you would know if Putin was passing you along. What gives you any confidence that he is or isn't doing that this time around?
Can't answer the question yet. I'll tell you in a matter of weeks, maybe less. But we've made a lot of progress. And as you know, we put a 50% tariff on India on oil. They're the second largest. They're very close to China in terms of the purchase of oil from Russia. But so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but we've had very productive talks today. Yes, ma'am.
If you do reach a deal with Ukraine and Russia, would you drop the additional tariffs on India?
Well, we'll determine that later, but right now they're paying a 50% tariff. Well, we'll determine that later, but right now they're paying a 50% tariff. Okay.
Indian officials have said that there are other countries that are buying Russian oil,
It's okay.
Like China, for instance, buys
okay.
more.
Yeah.
Why are you singling India out for these additional
It's
sanctions?
only been 8 hours, so let's see what happens over the next.
Sanctions
You're going
very
to see a
soon.
lot more.
So this is a taste of
You're
what's
going to
come.
see a lot more. You're going to see so much secondary sanctions. Yes, ma'am.
Keeping that 10 to 12-day deadline that you had given Russia after today's talks?
Yeah, we're pretty much getting close to it right now, but we're having very serious talks right now about getting out of Ukraine, getting it settled, getting it ended. Should have never started, would have never started. If I were president, it would have never started. Congratulations. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, press. Thanks, guys. Read off the score right here. Pen it out. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, press. Thank you, guys. Let's go. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Right behind you.